Coach, good morning. I'm my picture's up today with the wrist that you kind of criticized my hairdo, so I wanted you to take a good look to start.
That's a good look. That's definitely a good look there, Greg.
It's the middle-aged man hairdo, Kelvin. I just wanted to ask about some of the ISO stuff you were able to do with Jarris down the stretch. It looked like he showed kind of remarkable patience when it was time to score, and then also recognizing what the defense was doing. Is that something you've obviously worked with him, or is that just kind of innate in his kind of remarkable skill level?
Well, Jarris is better in certain areas of the floor than others. He's a good passer. He recognizes where the double teams are coming from. The thing he's gotten better at is hitting singles. When you think you're a good passer, sometimes you throw passes you shouldn't pass, you shouldn't make. For instance, interior passes usually lead to deflections or turnovers, whereas just move it to the next man is a single. He's gotten better at that.
Thank you. We'll go to Chris Gardner from Houston Roundball Review. Chris, go ahead, please.
Thanks, Jeff. Coach, who are players to watch for the Shocker and the style of play, please?
Craig Porter is their best player. He hurt us last year. We had a hard time guarding him. I think in the last 4 or 5 minutes, really good one-on-one player, tough kid, really improved his game, playing well. How well he's playing has coincided with their success. They got a kid that transferred from Alabama, Rojas kid, big, strong, tough kid, real physical. 6'6", 6'7", 225 inside. They've got 2 wings with great size, Pierre Jr. and Walton, 165, 167. So they're 6'5", 6'7" on the wings. They got 6'11", big, physical big with Rojas. Then they come off the bench with multiple guys that can make threes. So this is playing at Wichita State is it's always a tough task because they call it the roundhouse, and it is a loud house. Wichita State's always had great fans. It's been one of the great programs for a long time. And their fans, their history, they've got a legacy of great winning tradition. So every time you go there, you know you're in for a fight.
Thank you, Chris. We'll go to Andy Yana from Gallery Sports. Andy, go ahead.
Good morning, Coach. First, I guess maybe my hair's a little bit.
And Andy, you look like a fine young man. You're muted.
I said, thank you, sir. I took your advice. Got a fresh cut.
And Andy, I can't tell you how proud I am of your professional, clean look. You look like your first day to go on an interview to get the job of your life. I wish you well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's amazing what a fresh cut can do.
Yeah.
But real quickly, I want to ask about Ramon Walker and if you had any update on his status for the rest of the season.
Yeah. We're gonna redshirt Ramon. That was a mutual decision. So hopefully Ramon just keeps working, keeps improving his game. And we have 3 guys redshirting now: Malik, Big Said, Lot, and Ramon.
Thank you, Andy. We'll go to Joseph Duarte from the Houston Chronicle. Joseph, go ahead, sir.
You can just call me Jimmy from Stephenville.
Sometimes the most spontaneous things are the most fun things.
That was video goals, is what we call that. Kelvin, if I could just piggyback off of Andy there, just with the one less player, your rotation, the way you go with it, does that affect you at all? in terms of, how you perceive the rest of the season numbers wise, or do you mean the guys that you have right now are the guys that you have, that you play a lot?
Well, right now we have 5 guards, and then we have 4 post guys in our rotation. So that's 9. That's 9 guys. Some nights we may only play 8, but you always roll the dice with injuries and things like that. But that's part of life is at this level or at any level. Depth. This year we have 5 guards. Last year we only had 4. So we're playing with house money at the guard spot. And then with the bigs last year, same thing. So last year we only had 8 guys that we played 4 and 4. This year we had 5 and 4.
Since Ramon played some, I guess he hasn't had his red shirt. So you don't have to do anything in terms of
well, he's going through some personal stuff that's he's attending to with John Houston, our medical people, and I'm not going to comment on that further. That's personal with Ramon.
No, but what I meant was, is it I guess it'll be just a true red shirt, right? I mean, you won't have to go through any, you ask for like a medical waiver, that kind of stuff, because he hasn't used his red shirt, right?
No, but he played in over the limit of games he's allowed to regular red shirt. So this would be a medical red shirt.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Joseph. We'll go to Dayon Dunlap with the next question, please. Dayon, please go ahead with your question for Coach.
Yeah, the goal, Coach Sampson.
Who you got there, Dayon? Who's little man?
This young Dayon right here.
Dayon Jr.?
Dayon Jr.
What's up, little D? What's good, man? That's a good-looking little boy, Dayon. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me now?
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question was about Jamal Shead and how important his defense is as far as the point of attack. Talk about that for me and how important that is against Wichita State.
Yeah, thing I liked about Jamal, I was able to keep his minutes down, which is why the development of Emmanuel and Terrence is so important to our team. Jamal's a lot better at 30, 31 minutes than he is at 37, 38, because he's our point of attack on defense. And, we depend on his ball pressure a lot. I've got to find a way to get Marcus's minutes down. But again, I don't want to keep harping on this, but the development of Emmanuel and Terrence helps us to keep everybody fresh at the end of games. One of the reasons why Jamal was so good is we made a conscious effort to substitute him during timeouts. So I think there's 12:39 on the clock. If you went back and look at the film, we took him out and let him rest through the timeout and put him in after that. Was it the UCF or Cincinnati game where he got in foul trouble? Was that might have been UCF. He got in foul trouble, and that helped limit his minutes, but he was really good. I told him I was going to try to hold him out to the under 3, but Terrence and Emmanuel were doing a good job. So we were able to hold him out even longer. But he's our point of attack on defense, and he's had 2 really good games. Now the key is be consistent.
We'll go back to Joseph Duarte, please. Go ahead, Joseph.
Kelvin, the players that we've talked to always mention about Malik, his defensive, just what he brings in practice. The value of a guy who is not playing this year but is still in your practices, is that understated in terms of what he can do for your guys that are playing from the defensive end and what he gives them looks-wise in practice?
No question. Malik is probably our most athletic guard. He blocks a lot of shots around that rim, jumps up, pins balls on the backboard, things like that. There's a lot of areas Malik's got to improve in. You know, sometimes the guys that are red shirt and they're like the backup quarterback. Everybody thinks they're going to come in and be the greatest thing ever. That's not the way it works. But Malik has skills that needs to continue to be developed, especially his shooting. But his defense is solid. I mean, he's a good defender. You know, one of the areas that I try to do, and we do this, we had a stretch there probably I did it every day for 2 weeks. During the course of practice, I may stop practice. And you know, Terrence has always been a center in high school. He's never played guard. You know, that's been a big part of his development. So I make him play one-on-one with Malik behind the three-point line. You know, he's got to learn to handle the ball, to make a move where he can get the defender's shoulders turned so he can create an angle to get to the basket. Then maybe he can jump up over someone and use his length. But and I think that's helped Terrence giving him confidence going against a guy like Malik. Because Malik's hard to turn. He's hard to get an angle with because he moves his feet so well. So and Malik is such a great kid. I mean, he really is. He's you know, we're so blessed here to coach the kids we have because they allow us to coach them the way we do. But you can't do that unless you have a special relationship with these kids off the court, which is something that's always been a strength of our culture. But that's what our program's about, is our culture, and that extends to off the court. You know, when people see me getting on them or being demonstrative, trust me, those kids are used to that. They don't react to it. It's not anything that causes any kind of issues, and Malik is a great example of that. I coach Malik hard, but then all of a sudden we throw a curveball in practice. Okay, Malik, you and Terrence one-on-one. And I may put 5 seconds on the shot clock. Now you've added another dimension to it. Not only does he have to try to go score on Malik, he's only got 5 seconds. So you're not going to dribble the ball 8 times and make 20 moves. You got to make you got to make a quick, early, decisive decision and go. Now, when we first started doing that, it wasn't very good for Terrence. He had a hard time beating him, but he's getting better and better and better. But the key thing for Terrence, he's carrying that over to the games. You know, now you see him putting the ball on the floor, going to the basket. Well, that's because of a lot of repetitions going against an outstanding defender like Malik. Then all of a sudden now we're playing 5-on-5, and now he's on Jamal. You know, he's up there giving Jamal all he wants. So, and I put Ramon in that category. You know, Ramon is improving as a defender. So if we go white team today, for instance, we'll go hard today for a while. We'll put Malik, Emmanuel, Terrence, Ramon, and either JVA or Reggie against the red team. And you always have to keep score, because when they keep score, that's when their competitive juices start flowing. They don't like to lose, because if you lose, there's always a consequence. So that's one of the things that makes our practices competitive. But, you know, this time of the year, you got guys ascending, and then you got some guys descending, and you're always on the lookout for that to try to stop it when it's a brush fire so it doesn't become a forest fire.
We'll go back to Dayon Dunlap, please. Dayon, go ahead.
Kind of two-part question, follow-up with kind of something you just said. Has Jarrett's decision-making as far as being decisive, whether to pass or to score, making him better and affecting the team in a good way?
Yeah, no question, Dayon. He's, you know, young guys, when they first come here, all freshmen, not just Jarrett, so all of them, all the way back to Galen, they all think they're better than they actually are. So reality hits them in the face real quick because of the results of their actions. You know, in high school, they're used to going between their legs 3 or 4 times, throw it behind my back just for the hell of it, get in the paint, do something. Next thing you know, here, they're all turnovers. Well, I don't like turnovers. You know, the best basketball players keep it simple. That's where that old rule, keep it simple, stupid. When Jairus first got here, he was no different. Damian Dobson was like that when he got here. I used to call him Pineapple. Coach, why you call me Pineapple? Because you're a turnover, and I like pineapple turnovers. But Jairus, he started whipping that thing around. He'd throw it up the tunnel. He'd throw it over the up against the wall. He'd throw it. He may smack one off the backboard just because he threw one good pass. He's going to throw four bad passes trying to replicate the good one. But we had to just coach him up. That's what we do. We get him to play right, and it takes a while. Jared's still improving in that area. As he's improved, we're running more and more stuff through him. But Jairus, Marcus, Tremont, Jamal, J1, Emmanuel, Terrence, it's all about improving. Just how do you make them better? And that's why in the course of the season, you only have each team 1 year. Last year's team right now is irrelevant. Next year's team is not important. What's important is this team right now, and how can we continue to improve? And you do that by improving your players and putting them in team decision spots where they can help you. Jairus is pretty good at that. He's getting good at that.
If I can follow up, questions about Jamal and your trust with having the ball in his hands during clutch moments. Not only that, his confidence to be able to make plays. Not many players have the confidence to want the ball and want to take that shot. Kind of speak on both things about that as far as Jamal.
One of the things that Jamal struggled with last year and this year is I don't ever give him a free passing practice. The better Jamal practices, the better he plays in games. That includes game day shoot around. That includes the day before the game. Jamal's one of those earn it guys. When he practices the right way, and I make sure he does, that's when he has his best games. When he's trying to cut corners or he loses interest or his concentration and focus isn't what it needs to be, that tells me he thinks he's going to play good without earning it. And that's not the way it works. Maybe Michael Jordan could. I doubt he did. Maybe Kareem could. But I've yet to coach a Kareem or Michael Jordan. So the guys I'm coaching, you better practice the right way so you can earn the right to play well in games. And that's when Jamal's at his best. When you see him really playing well, that means that he's really practiced well.
I got time for 2 more questions. We'll go to Chris Gardner, and then Joseph Duarte will have the last question. Chris, go ahead with your question.
Coach, a few weeks ago, you mentioned that I think Tremont was dealing with a quad issue injury. Has that gotten better for him?
I think so. He had kind of like a small tangerine or a big walnut. It was hard. You could actually hit it. I was rubbing on it one day. He was showing me where it was hurting him. And, I think he sat out of practice, not completely. Our guys are pretty good. They don't like sitting out of practice. They love to practice. That's one thing I love about these teams here. So we did a lot of 5-0 stuff, but we kept him out of contact, and he's just now starting to get back in practice and contact. And Tremont's another one of those guys. He needs to practice. He needs to stay sharp, but he's getting better.
We'll go back with our last question. We'll go to Joseph Duarte. Go ahead, Joseph.
Kelvin, as you go from November to December to January, and now January into February, for this final month of the regular season, is there anything in your team that you've seen that is like a focus this last month, something that you want to, that trend that you want to keep seeing go up that you'll really focus on here, in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Joseph, as a coach, you're always you're always thinking about, do we need to work on our secondary defense? Do we need to work on a little of this or a little of that? Keeping players' spirits up. A lot of kids, we have kids that maybe had high expectations to do this, or this, and then they realize maybe those things aren't coming to fruition. But they're getting them to understand how to impact winning. Scoring points doesn't always impact winning. Are you defending? Are you rebounding? Are you the first on the floor after a loose ball? Are you a willing ball mover? Are you a willing screener? Just making sure we're all doing the right things, the little things, and all those things matter. Winning championships is hard. I mean, it's hard, but everybody in our league, there's multiple teams in our league that can win the conference championship. If you want to, I don't know where I heard this, but I heard this a long time ago. If you want to be happy for a day, eat a steak. If you want to be happy for a week, go on a cruise. If you want to be happy for a month, buy a car. But if you want to be happy forever, win a championship. Those things are forever. And we got a chance. We may win it, we may not. But the fact that we have a chance is what drives you this time of year, and making sure you're doing all the things that you need to do. Do we need to add this? We talk about that as a staff, and I trust my staff. How's this guy doing? This guy needs a little extra attention today. Maybe we should, when we're scrimmaging today, let's run some things through him to pick his spirits up. You're always, if I put a sign outside my door, it wouldn't say coach. It would say psychiatrist, because you're dealing with a lot more than just basketball. And sometimes coaching a kid, you're fighting outside sources. People telling him what he needs to do. So he has to decide who he's listening to. The people that don't know whether they're on foot or horseback, or the coaches. And usually we win those battles.
Coach, thank you very much for your time, sir.
Okay, thank you, guys. Have a good day.